So let's get real about manifestation. It is not about writing down your goals 10 times a day or using the 369 method and then just waiting for the universe to make it happen and to deliver. Manifestation is actually about stepping into the energy of what you're really trying to bring into your life, what you're trying to call it. It's not just about the action that you take, but it's about being in that right energetic space to receive. This is the Life Reimagined podcast. I'm Aditi Goyal, and this is your space to explore growth, healing, and living life on your own terms. Because sometimes all it takes is one conversation to shift everything. I first got to know about manifestation when I was about 15 years old, and I was very fortunate to learn about this amazing hack at such an early age. And since then I've tried to manifest all kinds of things, from very small cute things as a child that I felt were really huge and big for me, to of course bigger things as well, like a beautiful house, a positive body image, loving relationships, and a whole lot more. And I think it was so much more easier to manifest things when I was a child as compared to right now, because adult brains are really complex, right? Like when you're a child, it's much more easy to believe in things, to kind of sit back and believe that yeah, it's gonna come, instead of being in this space where I am forcing and pushing and trying to make my manifestation happen. And of course so many other blocks that we as adults face that children usually don't, because it just comes very naturally to them. And through this whole journey of so many years of understanding manifestation, using those techniques to, manifest different things in my life, I have now come across so many different blocks and doubts that didn't exist when I was much younger. And so today's episode is about that. It's about these five different blocks that are most common, that most people experience when it comes to manifesting. But before we get into that, I also want to talk about how manifestation is not just what you read in self-help books, or in those reels and the social media posts where people just ask you to write down things with a red pen, or to just say affirmations 10 times a day. It is not simply thinking positive or visualizing things and waiting for them to happen, right? If it were that easy, then I think everyone would be able to manifest very very quickly, very very easily, without any issues, without any doubts. But it's actually about being able to step in and embody that energy that you want to call in. So if I am trying to become healthier, if I'm trying to heal an illness, it will not help if I just go and stand in front of the mirror and just say 10 times that I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, while throughout the day I'm just feeling like I am sick and I'm not able to do things, and my body is, and I'm cursing my body, and I'm like, why are you not getting better? Those 5 minutes of affirmations are not going to help. What I need is to be able to step into that energy of a healthy person. So my habits will change, my thoughts will change, my behaviors will change, everything reflecting that future version of me, which is not yet here right now, but that which I am trying to call in. Okay, so just a little bit of a background about manifestation. I really just wanted to come out here and clear this whole myth of what manifestation is and what it isn't. But anyway, we can dive into that again in some other episode. But let's come back to the blocks that we're trying to talk about, the five different blocks. And I also just want to say that these blocks are very real, and I've struggled with them personally, and I've seen people go through them, and wondering, okay, why isn't my manifestation coming? I have been doing everything. But once we get clear on what these blocks are and we start working towards them, it all just becomes a lot more easier. Okay, so let's get real about the stuff that you don't usually hear on the manifestation front, because we're not just trying to wish it into existence and pray that it'll happen. We're trying to make it actually happen. Okay, so make sure you grab a notebook, because I hope you do take notes, because this is going to get real, this is going to get deep. So the very first block that I want to talk about is the lack of clarity. Okay, so sometimes we end up just wishing things, like say you want a good relationship, but what is good, right? What does good mean in your dictionary? What do you want your relationship to look like? How do you want your conversations to be? How do you want your dynamics to be like, how what defines a good relationship? So if you don't know what you want exactly, how do you expect to really get it, right? So we just keep wishing that, okay, I'm going to get a good relationship, but a definition of a good relationship for you and for someone else might be very different. So what is it that you're actually trying to call in? And the great part about this is that when you're clear about what you want, so let's say that for me, say for example, a good relationship is where I feel heard. So now that I have clarity on the feeling that I'm trying to call in, the feeling being I want to be heard, it's easier for me to focus on that feeling and embody that feeling right now, which will then bring my manifestation to me much faster. Yeah. So clarity is super super important, and I love to give this example of placing an order at a restaurant to explain this concept a little better. So, so let's say you're going to a restaurant, okay, and you order eggs. Now, you just tell the waiter to get eggs, okay? Now, the waiter might get an omelette. They might get like a fried egg or a poached egg. You really don't know, and there's a lot of confusion on their end as well as to, okay, what kind of eggs. But because you don't have that clarity, you're going to probably get something that you didn't want, right? You're probably going to get an omelet where you actually wanted scrambled eggs, right? So there's a lot of confusion, a lot of like gray area as to, okay, what is it that actually needs to come in. So the more clear you are, the more easier it is for the universe to bring your desires to you. And the more clear you are about what it is that you specifically want, the easier it is to embody that feeling in the right here, right now. Okay. So when I was manifesting a new house, I was actually pretty young, but again, which worked in my favor, which was lucky. But so I remember writing down in my diary, and of course imagining it every day, that we have a 6 bedroom house, and I have my own room, and my room is lavender in color because I was obsessed with lavender. I think I still am to some extent, but yeah, I was obsessed, and I knew exactly how I wanted my room to look, from the color of the walls to the color of the furniture and maybe even the view as well. All of it was just a very crystal clear image in my mind. And well, it did kind of happen. So just a little personal story of how I manifested one of the biggest things, according to me at least. But anyway, moving on, the second one, the second biggest block, and this is the most common block that I have ever seen and I have ever experienced, is being in the energy of wanting and lack. Okay, so this means that while I am trying to bring new things into my life, while I'm trying to say manifest more money, I am still in this energy of lack, So I'm in that space of I want money, I want to get money. And of course, it makes sense. Because you want money is why you are manifesting it in the first place. But that obsessive control of I need it, it's almost like you can't detach yourself from it, and you are continuously experiencing the lack of it. And if you know the law of attraction, the energy of lack will create more lack. So if your focus every day is on how much money I don't have compared to how much I do actually have, you will end up creating more lack and more reasons to notice how much you don't have the money you need, right? So you cannot want something and have it at the same time. What we want to do is to embody it to such an extent that it feels like I already have it, right? Or I am so fulfilled and I'm so happy in the present moment that I don't even feel like I need it anymore. And that is exactly when it comes. By some ironical rule, the minute you don't want it and the minute you detach from it is when it actually comes, right? Because you're not desperate anymore, you're not in that state of lack anymore, and that's just when you're a magnetic match to it and it just kind of flows in. So you know that saying of when you stop wanting it is exactly when it comes is actually quite true. So this is just like watching the milk boil, if you keep watching the milk boiling on the stove, it's actually slow, right? And you're kind of waiting, okay, when will it happen, when will it happen, when will it happen, and feel like the time is passing by really slowly. But the second you look away, the second you take your attention off that pot of milk, it just boils over, right? Just a very silly example of how when you stop obsessing over it and stop waiting and watching and expecting it to happen, that is when it actually happens. Yeah. So being desperate for something is just a way of pushing it away, it's just a way of reaffirming to the universe that I don't have it, right? And when you say I don't have it, that is what your reality is always going to be: I don't have it. Yeah. So another way to look at it, another example to probably help you get this concept a little more clear, is like holding on to sand. If you hold on to it too tightly and if you grasp and kind of hold it in your palms too tightly, it will slip away, right? So we don't want to do that. We don't want to be in this energy of lack and desperation and wanting. We want to be in the energy of gratitude. Okay, moving on. The third one is one of the lesser known reasons, but it is a big, or probably the biggest factor in deciding what you can and what you can't manifest. Okay, and this is your nervous system feeling safe or unsafe to receive this particular thing. Okay, so or to put it in another words, your subconscious mind is not on board with what you want to manifest. Okay, so if you know a little bit about the conscious and subconscious mind, you know that 95% of us, of our thoughts, of our patterns, behaviors, emotions, all of it come from the subconscious mind. Only 5% is controlled by the conscious mind. Okay, which means that if my conscious and my subconscious mind are not on board with each other, it's not going to happen because my subconscious mind is 95% of me. It controls my decisions, my behaviors, my thoughts, everything without me even being aware of it. Okay, so if I consciously want more money, right, but subconsciously I have associated money with being bad, or I have this subconscious belief that I'm not aware of, that money is the root of all evil, or more money means more struggle, or more money means I don't get to spend time with my family. Okay, all of these subconscious beliefs, if they are kind of stuck inside and you're not even aware of it, and here you are consciously trying to bring in more money, it's not going to happen because more money is unsafe, right? On my For my subconscious mind, for my nervous system, more money is unsafe. It's not okay for me to have more money because that means that I'm not going to be able to spend time, that means I'm going to have to struggle more and xyz. Okay, or say you want more love, you want a loving relationship, but your subconscious has associated love with pain, or it has associated love with sacrificing. It's not going to happen because I don't want those negative things, right? So and then we end up in patterns of self sabotage. That is exactly where self sabotage starts to happen, because my subconscious mind is not feeling safe. So it's not actually self sabotage, it's just self protection. Okay, it's just your mind trying to protect you from something that it believes to be unsafe, something that it believes to be dangerous, even though it might not be, but it believes so because of past experiences, or beliefs or thought patterns or incidences that kind of just stuck with you. Okay, so the subconscious is just trying to keep you safe, even if it means keeping you stuck, even if it means not letting you have the thing that you are so desperate to have. Okay, so the biggest thing when it comes to manifestation is that you have to feel safe with the thing that you're calling in. And the reason why this is sometimes a little difficult to do is because we don't know what our subconscious beliefs are. We don't know what we believe on a subconscious level, right? I know that on a conscious level, I want more money, I want more success, I want more love, but I don't know what my subconscious mind associates with these things. I don't know what belief patterns are hidden behind the surface that make me kind of run away from these things, the very things that I actually want to have. Okay, so wanting it is one thing, but feeling completely safe and happy to actually receive it is a whole another thing. So wanting love is one thing, but feeling safe to be fully seen, to be fully vulnerable, and to be actually loved deeply is a whole another thing. And the same goes with money, right? People want it but may experience guilt when they have it, or might fear being judged. So till your subconscious and your conscious mind, both of them are not on board with each other, and they are kind of, agreeing to each other, where the conscious mind is like, okay, I want more money, and the subconscious mind is, yes, that's great, we want it too, it's not going to happen. You will just find yourself stuck in self sabotage patterns where things are almost happening, but you kind of find yourself backing out or stopping or procrastinating and all of those things. Okay, let's just take a deep breath, pause for a second. This can be a lot, but this is super important, and I hope you've been taking notes, because this is literally gold. I mean, yeah, that's all I can say. Okay, moving on. The fourth one is where you find yourself in this place of doubt about whether it's going to happen or not. Yeah, so you're almost constantly, fluctuating between, oh, feeling it really fully, like, oh my god, yes, it's coming, and I'm so excited, and I'm going to take all this action and xyz, and then you kind of move on to this feeling of, okay, is it really coming? Am I just deluding myself? Am I just living in my own fantasy world, and it's probably never going to happen? And you're in this state of constant fluctuation, right? But again, this means that you are embodying the feeling of not having it. Because if you already had it, you would not be in this place of doubt. You would just go about living your life, and not actually worry about it at all. You would not sit there and doubt it. Or if you knew for a fact that it was coming, you would not sit and doubt it. Right? So again, let's take this example of placing an order at a restaurant. Okay, so once you place an order of whatever it is that you want with clarity, remember that. Do you sit and doubt whether it's coming or not? Have they taken my order, or did they miss out, or have they forgotten? Or are you just there in the moment talking to whoever it is that you've come with, and just kind of enjoying the moment, knowing that in whatever 15-20 minutes or so it is going to come because you have placed the order? And why can't we have that same level of certainty when it comes to placing orders with the universe, or sharing our desires, or sharing what it is that we want with the universe? Okay, so embodying that certainty, embodying that level of surety that, yeah, I have asked for it and it's going to come, and I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can just sit and enjoy the present reality. I can enjoy my time right now, and it's going to come whenever it's ready, whenever I'm ready for it. So we want to be living in this space of, I already have it, instead of I want it, right? Which again connects back to the whole concept I discussed about being in the energy of lack, or versus being in the energy where you already have it. So when you're in doubt, you're not actually open and trusting. you're kind of bracing yourself for disappointment, right? Like, okay, might as well kind of be on the fence, because if it doesn't come, I will be heartbroken. So I might as well prepare myself for the possibility that it doesn't. Right. And that energy, that uncertainty is not going to be able to actually bring in what you're trying to have. So the next time you feel doubt creep in, that's okay. It's a part of the process. It is a form of subconscious resistance, but we're going to try not to judge it, not to condemn it, and not to be like, no, I want to be in this place of certainty. Yes, we do, but that's not going to happen if we judge it and if we criticize it. But to simply just notice it and ask yourself, and this is a very important question, a very insightful question: what part of me doesn't feel safe to believe that this is possible? What part of me is doubting this? Okay, so you can afford to wait in peace when you're certain that it is arriving. Doubt will only come in when there's uncertainty. Yeah, so and actually this reminds me of this wonderful story, uh, which was shared in one of the trainings that I attended, and it was actually a story of this very famous author Louise Hay. So she was trying to manifest a house, and she had imagined, you know complete details of what it needs to look like, the views, the rooms, the furniture, all of it, the location, the which floor, all of it. So there was a lot of clarity on what her house should look like. Okay, and she kept, doing her process of trying to bring that in, and it was about 6 months, and it still has not had not come. And she was, as in, she was going and, looking at a lot of different houses and a lot of different flats, but nothing really felt like the one. Nothing really felt like the one that she had in her mind, the one that she was trying to have. And so there was almost some, moment of despair. But then finally she went to look at this one particular house, and it was just it was exactly how, she had imagined it. Now the funny part of the story is that the reason that she did not find that house earlier was because it was actually being made. It was under construction. It was being constructed, just say about, I'm not sure, but say about a year and a half ago, and it was still kind of coming out into the market. And that is just almost like a, like a beautiful story of how, when you want something and you work and you kind of align yourself energetically to it, the universe moves mountains to make it happen. So I just really love that story. Like, oh my god, yes, like I want something and the universe is actually building that from scratch because I have embodied it so well. But okay, anyway, that was just a story that I get really inspired by. Okay, let's move on to the last one, which is that you are too caught up in the how. Okay, so you are in this place where you want to have something, but your mind, your analytical, logical mind is like, okay, how is that going to happen? Right? Because logically, it does not make sense. If I'm earning a certain amount right now, moving to, like a much bigger amount in this moment does not feel logically right. Like, how is that going to happen? Do I have to work extra jobs, or what? What's going to really happen? How do I move from where I am right now to where I want to be? But that is just blocking the magic from happening, right? Your job is just to know the what. It's just to know what it is that you really want for you, what it is that you're trying to bring in. The how will figure out itself. This is where we surrender to the magic, to the infinite wisdom of the universe, its infinite ability to make things happen, to shift things, and to, bring you at the right place at the right time. Because, and the conscious mind is so limited, it cannot understand the workings of the universe. It cannot bring things together in the perfect order, in the at the perfect time, at the perfect place. It cannot do that. So we want to be able to surrender to that power, to surrender to that, almost that intelligence that takes care of things. And this whole thing of trying to figure out the how is just another form of resistance, is just another form of doubt coming up, where I'm not sure if this is going to happen, so let me figure out consciously all the steps that I'm going to take. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and that there my goal is. Well, if it was that easy, if it was just you needing to take xyz steps, then why do you even need the whole manifestation process, the visualization process in the first place? You can just make it happen. We are trying to manifest things because somewhere we feel like we need some external help, some help from a source that is much more intelligent, much more smarter, and can make things happen in a much faster, in a much more aligned way than our conscious mind possibly can. So that is exactly what we want to surrender to, right? Because, and when that happens, when things kind of just click and fall into place, and you are like, wow, I could have never thought that this is how it would happen. Right? There's so many stories of people who have manifested a perfect relationship, and after that happens, they experience this sense of like, wow, I could have never thought that this is how I would meet my partner, or I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams that my partner would be XYZ, or would have XYZ qualities. But that is perfect for me. I needed exactly that, but I didn't know. Yeah, so we want to be able to surrender and trust this magical process by which things happen. So there you have it, the 5 common blocks that might be blocking your manifestation: being in the energy of lack of clarity, feeling unsafe to receive, or getting too caught up in the how. Okay, this manifestation is about alignment, not just action. So if you're still stuck, it's a sign that your energy or beliefs are not aligned. They need a little bit of shifting. And once you remove those blocks, the magic will just start to flow. By the way, I have also created a course. It's called Creating a Vision Board and a New Life Story. And people sometimes assume that it's about just creating a vision board, but it's actually not. It's about a whole paradigm shift. It's about shifting your perception and opening yourself up to much more than you have probably even dreamt of, opening yourself up to more possibilities. And then, how do I make it into a tangible vision board through using principles of manifestation, so that it actually comes true? Like, the point is not just to stick pictures on a piece of paper and put it up there, but how do I actually use principles of manifestation to bring it to my reality? So do check that out if you're interested. And to end, I would just like to say that, remember that the universe does not respond to how much you want something, it responds to the energy that you're sending out, to the frequency that you're being in right now. If you found this helpful, do share it with someone who's ready to break free from their own manifestation blocks. And be sure to check out the resources linked below for deeper work. I love to answer any questions about manifestation or conscious life creation. So do comment below if you have any. That's it for today, and I'll see you next time.